Can you describe the situation that our solar system is going through from the perspective of the Nordics?
They know that the giants are awakening, and they had a type of relationship with these giants. The way I see it is that they used to work with these giants as messengers of some sort. So they were a type of messengers to people, like similar to what they do to me. So I started putting that in perspective, and I was like, wow, you know, probably the angel that visited Samson's mom, or angels that visited different people in the Bible. Can it be that these were Nordics, or different angelic beings that visited different people to guide them, to talk to them, to give them a message of what to do next? And I thought about that, and they're like were guiding me. And also, while I was there, I was getting information telepathically. They were telepathically communicating with me that there was another giant waking up in Slovenia. So they told me that information during what was happening in this trip back and forth. I want people to understand that this what happened with me, it has nothing to do with the military. What this experience happened separate. So not a lot of people know about the situation that happened with me in the military.
You're listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
So I want to welcome JP back to Exopolitics Today. JP, well, thank you for coming and sharing some really interesting information about some contact experiences you had with some Nordic extraterrestrials. Welcome back to the show.
How you doing, Doc? I'm glad to be to your show, share this information. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right. Well, we first began communicating back in 2008 when you told me about a group of Nordic extraterrestrials that you had a contact experience with, and you've had experiences with them on and off over the years. And so you just recently had another experience with them where you had a telepathic communication. So why don't you tell us what happened?
I live really close to Alabama, and there's open places around here that these particular ships, they come in and out and they land. There's a lot of farmlands here where I live. I was driving back from work, and in the distance, I saw a ship, and it landed like behind this fence. It landed, and I look behind me and I see no traffic. I look in front of me, there's no traffic. So I'm like, wow, they timed it really good. So I parked my car on the side, locked it. I ran across the road, and I was looking at the ship. And then my mind just went blank. And I opened my eyes and I was in the ship already.
Can you tell us about the shape of the ship?
It looks like a particular UFO that people all around the world they see. It was bluish in color, but metallic. It had a hatch that comes down like a ramp, and it looks like one of those regular UFOs that people see. But when I crossed the road and I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes, I ended up inside the ship.
And what do you remember about being inside the ship?
I remember being strapped on, sitting down. I remember seeing a Nordic looking being dressed up as with military, kind of like a jumpsuit, but really tight, having I think it was a couple of years ago that I showed you a picture of a being, a Nordic with a symbol that they had in their chest. They had that same symbol,
Is this
and
the same Nordic? Because I know
it
you described in 2018, I think it was, that meeting that Nordic in Orlando that wanted to take you up, and you didn't go on the ship. Is it a same one or different one?
this is that same Nordic, but it's also a Nordic that picked me up in Brazil that I remember. There was a total of three inside the ship, and it's kind of because I don't know their name. I know them by face, but I remember the 2018 Nordic, and I remember the Brazilian Nordic that also picked me up. So they were sitting down. The one that had the military uniform was in the middle of the ship, moving his hands around, and I think that's the way they maneuver also the ships and all that. You can clearly see everybody in the room telepathically talking with each other. See, there's something I want the public to know. Okay, telepathic communication. See, if people study what is how quantum entanglement works, right? And the study of that, and understand that our brain is made of neurons that flashes on and off. See, I don't know if I could say this, but I'm gonna say it. There's certain military people that can have a technique of telepathic communication that they already use. We already use. There's a technique that we use for telepathic communication, Doc. And I think people should know this technique. So I'm going to share with you also a certain technique how to telepathically communicate with each other. You can try it with your spouse. You can try it with anybody, you know, that you trust. And this technique that they telepathically communicate with is you flash, you look eye to eye contact, right? Once you have eye to eye contact, you shut your eyes, you open up, you shut your eyes, you open up, and you picture, when you shut your eyes, you picture what you want to send to the other person. So you close your eyes, you picture, and then you send it to the other person. The other person will receive it and automatically will turn it into whatever words their brain will pick up by pictures. So there's something about this technique, but you have to have a meditative state of mind. You got to clear your mind so fast, but it works. I want people to try this at home. This technique, you close your eyes hard, you picture it, you open it, and you have eye contact. Once you have this eye contact with the other person, people can pick it up. It's an exercise, you know. There's an exercise. It's like any other exercise, you know. You got to keep doing it until you receive it, receive the messages and all that. So yeah, um, telepathic communication, and mechanically, people are already building a type of telepathic by moving things where they're waves of mind moving stuff, you know, by connecting with their neurons and their brains. So it's kind of interesting, that type of communication. And I really want to share the public techniques, different techniques, how to develop that, because I think people can develop it like fast if they share that technique. And we use it in the military sometimes. So we went up, right? And I could see Earth already really small. And there was more ships with us, same shape, following us. And when I looked, I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, we're already out of our solar system. Not solar system, our, you know, Earth and Moon, that part. We started seeing, like, we started heading out from Earth and the Moon, right? And I started seeing ships that looked the same way. And these ships were following us. And then in between these ships, there was a large ship that looked like similar to a more, but like a like a submarine shape, cigar shaped ship. And then from the distance, I already can see Jupiter. You can see Jupiter getting bigger and bigger. And that is really, really good in my memory that I saw that. So we visited Ganymede and we started dropping off these type of instruments that they have for communication and also for like type of medicines. I don't really know what kind of stuff they were taking to these certain places that we were going. But we also went to the moon Europa. And that was quite interesting.
Well, before you tell us about Europa, maybe just explain a little bit more about Ganymede, because I know you told us about a mission you had with Space Command to Ganymede, where there were different extraterrestrial visitors and bases there, but you were part of the Space Command. Now you went with the Nordics as part of their convoy, a convoy of craft that were dropping things off to who? Who were they dropping the things off to? Was it to Space Command up there on Ganymede?
It was to other ETs. So yeah, we were dropping off to an area of Ganymede that I never went to. It was the bottom part. I think I sent you a map of these parts that I went to like a year ago, and we visited. But I stayed inside the ship. But I saw the hatch go down. They went down, and I was just feeling numb. Everything was like cloudy. Everything was like I was looking around and analyzing the ship, analyzed what was happening, and I was saying to myself, "What's going on? You know, why am I here?" And I was getting like flashes in my eyes when I was in space and all that. And I got ear problems now. Um, I my eyes hurt sometimes at night, but it was quite interesting.
Okay, so they wanted you to see this. They wanted you to see that they were dropping off supplies to some other ET group on Ganymede. Did they give you a reason for why they wanted you to see that?
They want me, I guess, to understand that the Nordics are working with us and they're doing what they're doing because they want to help in our solar system and other solar systems that are going through type of the same situation.
And
But
can you describe the situation that our solar system is going through from the perspective of the Nordics?
they know that the giants are awakening and they had a type of relationship with these giants. The way I see it is that they used to work with these giants as messengers of some sort. So they were a type of messengers to people, like similar to what they do to me. So I started putting that in perspective and I was like, wow, you know, probably the angel that visited Samson's mom or angels that visited different people in the Bible. Can it be that these were Nordics or different angelic beings that visited different people to guide them, to talk to them, to give them a message of what to do next? And I thought about that, and they're like were guiding me, and also while I was there, I was getting information telepathically. They were telepathically communicating with me that there was another giant waking up in Slovenia. So they told me that information during what was happening in this trip back and forth. I want people to understand that this what happened with me. What it has nothing to do with the military. That what this experience happened separate. So not a lot of people know about the situation that happened with me in the military.
Right.
I
Well, we
guess
know. Well, we know from your military missions that you went to that location in Florida and you saw the sleeping giant there in Florida. But now the Nordics are telling you that there's another sleeping giant that's awakening in Slovenia,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
There's
that they
another.
and that they used to work with the giants many thousands of years ago, when the giants, I guess, were like openly interacting or on the surface of the planet.
Mm-hmm. And they used to pick up people, and they used to show them things that they didn't understand. They used to pick up leaders of different tribes or different places, and they used to help out with humanity, how to move forward. And it was quite informative and interesting what happened, because they told me about this other giant that was awakening over there in Slovenia. And they were telepathically telling me that, hey, there's going to be another place. There's going to be another giant awakening, and you might be going there, and you might be part of a mission. And I might be going somewhere else for another mission. So they're already preparing me of what I was gonna be doing.
Now, I think it's helpful to point out here that you've been having contacts with the Nordics since 2008, and your involvement with the U.S. military only began at the well, sorry, you joined the U.S. military, signed up at the end of 2019, and I was going over some of our old contact notes when we were talking, and in 2017, you actually said that the Nordics were telling the U.S. military to kind of like look out for you, to like not to make sure that you weren't in any way harmed or mistreated, because they were working with you, and that this is what one of the reasons the military wanted you to join.
Yeah, the Nordic that is dressed with that uniform, that he's really protective. He was really protective of me. He was saying, "Stay in the ship. Don't come out. We'll do this, but keep observing." And I just kept observing. I kept observing what they were doing, how they were flying the ships, how they're. It's kind of interesting because they never give me their names. They never give me their name. And I've been having this contact for the longest time with these guys. And one of the guys I used to work with in these missions was Shien and Lovint. I don't know if you remember these guys, but they used to come with me in some of these missions. And Shien, I remember telling you that he passed away, remember? And Lovint kept, visiting me, and we kept doing, but I haven't heard about these guys since, in a long time, that they used to go with these missions with me. But now these missions to Ganymede, and they telling me about Slovenia. They said that these giants and the soldiers that are in Slovenia, they have this technology that is really, really different, that they're going to share soon with the Earth. So that was also quite interesting, them telling me that information.
Can you say a little bit more about this army protecting this giant in Slovenia?
It's a different race. They're from the inner Earth, and they're there to protect this particular king. And they told me about that this is near the Pico Mountain. That's the only place that they told me. And that this giant also has a beard that wraps around his neck and wraps around his body, and that he was going to wake up soon. I don't know when he's going to wake up, but they told me that soon he was going to wake up, but the army is already woken up and is already like doing the recon of the place around and making sure that it's ready for him to wake up.
So can you say a little bit now about uh, Enki? You had something to say about the Nordics were telling you about Enki. Can you say anything about that?
Yes. The reason why these giants are awakening and started awakening is because when Enki came to the solar system, he also activated something with these giants. Now, I'm not sure if it was because of the situation what happened with Elena, but when these giants wake up, they're gonna have a type of power that people won't understand how they have it or why they use it. And people are gonna see him as an authority. And a lot of people are gonna say, I told you so, you know. But we also have the arcs, that are activating around the world and around our solar system. And it's not only our solar system going through this situation. So yeah, that's the information I have, Doc.
Can you
I don't
remember?
know if that's informative, but I'm trying to be careful what I'm saying. I don't want to.
I just wanted to kind of like just to clarify when it came to Enki. I mean, the Nordics, they communicated with you while you were on the ship that these giants are waking up because of Enki. I mean, they told you that on this ship. Is that when you learned about it from them?
Yeah, they told me that.
Okay, well, that's very important because that supports what Elena Danan was saying, that Enki has returned, and that because of his return, uh, he's having an effect on these sleeping Anunnaki scientists that are waking up. And
It's a
also
it's
that,
a it's a communication that everything has with these beings, and I know people are feeling happy now. We got Christmas coming. It's like a good time. What's happening now is really good. We got a lot of good vibes going on, a lot of love going on. And it's interesting that it's happening around when it's getting cold, December, and all this is happening. But they were telling me that the activating of these giants is because there was a force, there was a strength that entered the solar system. And I'm sure that that strength, that force was Inky when he came in and he addressed his presence, Doc, his presence is overwhelming. So everything feels it. It's hard to explain. It's like it's everywhere. It's connected to everything. So everything knows. I don't know why it's like that, but everything knows about his presence. So that's kind of cool.
that's really important, and just acknowledging that the Nordics have been working with the giants and presumably with Enki for thousands of years, and so it's no big deal for them to kind of like work with these beings that are now waking up.
Yeah. And these Nordics were probably the angels that everybody were talking about. That's what I'm trying to get to. I don't know how people are going to see this in different kind of religion or, see this in different ways, but there were these Nordics were around thousands of years ago helping people out, and they were getting ordered by Enki to do these different, you know, tasks. And there's a lot of them because when we left, I saw dozens of these ships following us. So I don't know if they're carrying more people with them that has the same thing that I do. It's not only me. I know deep inside that it's not only me. And all these people coming out with these beautiful stories about these beautiful experiences is going to be a lot more coming out. I know it. And these people coming out with their experience in the programs, and it's quite interesting when people have these experience, Doc. They change. People change. You change. You see the world different. You see the world in color when you have these experience, and I know people can relate to that when they had these experience, and when they telepathically communicate with these beautiful beings, and they go into the ship, and you're physically there. Like it's like entering to your car, turning it on with your key, turning on the radio, and you're there. You feel it. You are there. So when people have these experience, and then sometimes when you have these experiences, people know, and they will visit you, and they will tell you, hey, do not share this story. We know what you're going through. You get threatened, and that's what what's happening now, Doc. A lot of people are getting threatened not to share these stories, but people are not giving a shit no more. People are going to start sharing these stories, and this is going to get out, and the world is going to know about what's happening and what's hidden, and why are we hiding this? Why are we still hiding what is UFO or UAPs if everybody knows already what it is? This situation is gonna get fishy. It's gonna get nutty. I had a friend that texted me, and he told me that this situation is gonna get nutty, and I really believe that, because a lot of people don't want this information to come out, but it's coming out, Doc. It's coming out. It's coming out in the news. It's coming out by different sources, and people are really getting into it right now. People are understanding what is happening. They're feeling it. You can feel it. You can go outside and meditate 2 or 5 or 10 minutes, and you can feel the presence of all these beings if you've been through these situations and these experiences. And even people that haven't been through these experiences, they're going through different dreams. They're having more dreams. They're having more communication. And there's going to come a time that everybody's going to be connected, Doc. That's what I believe.
Exciting times. Definitely, we're living in those. So after the Nordics took you to Ganymede and you witnessed stuff being transferred from this convoy of Nordic spacecraft, you then, the next moon was Europa. You want to tell us what happened there?
So when we were in Ganymede and we were dropping these equipments and this stuff, right? We left. We got picked up and we left, right? And we kept going around, and then I saw Jupiter, and you can feel the magnetic field of Jupiter. You can feel the gravity of Jupiter, and we went around Jupiter, and then I thought we were going back home, but then we went back and we saw a bright moon. I saw a bright moon, and I asked, "Hey, which moon is that?" I talked it, and they talked back. They said, "It's Europa." They talk with an accent. I don't know what language they speak, but the Nordics, they speak with an accent similar to a Jamaican accent, but a little bit more between Spanish and Jamaican accent. But it's kind of cool that they spoke back. They didn't telepathically talk to me, and they went around, and then we circled around the moon, and they told me that was Europa. And everybody knows that Europa is an icy moon. I'm like, well, what the hell we're doing here? What do we have here? That really interested me. And I saw that everybody lined up, all the ships lined up, and they were facing to this crater. But this crater that Europa had, it goes into a slant, and it keeps going in to like a big cavern or like a tunnel type of thing. And it's surrounded by ice. And we started going into the crater. Gravity got strong. We sat down, gravity got strong, and we got into the crater. It curved up, and we saw the ocean, the beautiful ocean that Europa has. And then in the distance of the ocean, it was so bright and beautiful. You could see like cities of skyscrapers of white, icy looking skyscrapers. And you could see the roads that are made like of the road was made of like a golden sparkle, and you can see different kind of flying crafts going left to right. And later on, I'm gonna try to draw. I took a couple pictures, but I don't know if I can share these pictures with you, Doc. So I'm gonna ask to see if I can send these pictures to you. It's quite interesting. It's so you see the city in the distance, and you see the skyscrapers of ice, and the city. You can see ships going left to right of the same kind. And we stopped, and they parked like in a it had like it looked like grass, but it was white grass. It looked, yeah, it's white grass. Like it's a plant that looks white. So I don't know if they were a type of fungi, or but whatever it was, it smelled good. It smelled like roses and mint mixed in together. So a rose and a mint. You smell, that's what you smell. And it smelled like you could taste honey in the atmosphere. You could taste, like when you breathe in, you could taste the candy, you can taste the honey. So that was really pleasant. It was really amazing. And you see all these ships coming down, parking. All you can see it one by one. They were like parking next to each other and parking. And they told me to step out from the ship. And I thought I was gonna die with coldness, with freezing. But no, it was 70, around 70 degrees, in between 65 and 70 degrees. And you could feel wind coming from the tunnel in, coming from the cavern in, and you can hear the ice of Europa moving like a boom, boom, boom. I think they use the ice that moves on the surface, and they use that as energy to to help the city, the lighting, and to help the city. So they use the movement of the ice of the moon to create energy and to to give power. That's where they're telling me that this sound that I was hearing, whoa, whoa, it was like a deep, 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 like whoa, whoa, like you can hear it, and I'll probably go crazy if I live there and hear that, Doc. But that's that's what I was hearing. You lived in Hawaii. I don't know how those those
Coqui frogs, roosters.
but
Stuff
you get used to it, right? So I
you do.
I imagine that they get used to that sound. It's like a deep womb sound. So I was hearing that, and it was dazing me up. It was meditating me. Like it was a sound that it was a low tone that you feel in the inside, and it was like whoa, whoa, and you feel it, and everybody is like feeling it. And the Nordic looked at me, and he was like, he smiled, like, "Do you feel that?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I feel that. That's kind of cool." And then I was feeling the taste of the honey of the atmosphere, and I was smelling the rose with mint, and everything was like feeling good. Like, oh yeah, this is awesome. So we went
So
into this. Yeah,
you saw the city in this giant cavern under
yeah.
the ice. So
Under
the
yeah,
ship went into the cavern under the ice, and there's this huge city there, and you got the ice and the. So where's the ocean? Can you see the ocean from the
you can see the
city?
ocean. You can see the ocean. You can see the ocean in the distance. The ice goes down and it goes into the ocean, but you can see the ocean moving. The ocean is like a dark blue, beautiful color, like dark blue. In the distance, it turns dark, like the ocean, the ice meets the ocean, and it just turns dark. But the cavern is so big, so huge that you don't feel it. And everything is like when you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and you see the sun rising, like that type of light, but the cities were really bright. So that energy that the cities were receiving was from the ice moving, and creating that movement creates like yeah, that energy that they receive. So I asked the Nordic, hey, was this always here? What is this place? I never heard about this place. He said that yes, this place was always here, but it just got activated now. And he brought Enki again. I got activated when Enki came. So I was like, what the heck? Like this shit was always here. He says, yeah, you guys are one of the first ones, humans, in thousands of years that have come here. So I'm like, whoa, I felt special. I felt like that's awesome. I said, "Oh, you had other humans that used to visit here?" He said, yeah, we had a lot of humans that used to visit here, and we used to share information and bring them back to Earth. I'm like, whoa, okay. So that's interesting. And they told me also that this moon moves. It it, it only been about around Jupiter for a couple hundred thousands of years, and that they say that this particular moon is like our moon. It can move. They can move it anywhere they want using the same movement of the ice. It moves the moon wherever they want.
So they just wanted you to see this giant city that was activated by Enki's return.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They had a major library, Doc, that had information of our solar system and other solar systems that are close in this moon. They had information like a library. That's where they were telling me that they had a library that had information of this solar system and other solar systems. And this is going to tie in with the interview I'm going to give you next about the mission I had.
Okay, we'll talk about that in another interview. So, anything more you want to share about Europa before we kind of like start wrapping up this interview?
It was a peaceful place. That's one. I felt that they've been there for a long time, a long time. If you see these skyscrapers that connects to the cavern all the way up, they connect to the ice on top. So it looks like a like a beam that is like from the ground going to the cavern up. And you see all these ships going in and out from these skyscrapers, and you see these bridges that look like glass and made of like it's it was something that it was really different. And entering this cavern, because it looks like a crater, right? When you enter, it looks like a crater, and then when you enter, you curve in, and then you fly through this like cavern tunnel looking thing, and you see the city, the bright city, and it's beautiful. And the smell was like that. It was like a rose with mint. I remember that. And the oxygen you can taste like it was like honey. It was, and then you felt the sound, and it puts you like in a meditative state. Everybody at once. It's similar to what happened when we went to Ganymede, and everybody starts beating the same way. Like everybody's heart starts going the same pattern, and everybody's intertwined. Everybody's in the same zone. So that felt really beautiful. After that, I closed my eyes. I felt my face hit the floor, and my body could not take it, Doc. They told me that what I was feeling was so supernatural that I couldn't take it. I couldn't. So I just blacked out. So they put me back into the ship, and they put me into this liquid tube. I remember they put me in this liquid tube, and I opened my eyes, and I could breathe in this liquid, but it was different. It was like breathing in slow motion, but you could still feel yourself in the liquid. So I was breathing in slow motion inside this liquid, and I blacked out again, and I was back where my car was. And when I crossed the street, I turned around, and I had my phone with me, and I took a picture. Boom. They were leaving. I took another picture. Boom. I said, hell yeah, let me try to take a video. I was feeling dazed up, but I was sure that I was going to take this video. So I took the video of them maneuvering by the cloud. And on 10 seconds in this video, you can see how another ship flashes right by them, like flashes, and it disappears. And then they keep going up. They move up to the clouds, and they leave. So I know I send you that video and those pictures. to share with the public. You can share. And I want, like, when people see this, to have a meditated mind and to try that technique of telepathic communication to see what people receive, because they let me do this video for a reason. So I don't know what will people feel when they see this video. Remember, when you see a video, is a projection of light. So it's like if you're seeing it in real life, So it's kind of interesting.
Well, that is great. So you were able to take photos and video of the craft that had picked you up and had taken you to Ganymede and to Europa, and the Nordics had communicated with you. So you got pictures now and video, and you also took some video, you say, of the city on Europa, or in that cavern in Europa, but you have to get permission to release that. And I assume you have to get permission. Well, maybe I shouldn't say anymore who you have to ask for permission. That's maybe a little too, might get you into trouble. Okay, anything else you want to say about the Nordics and the mission to Ganymede and Europa, and what they told you about the awakening giants and Enki?
When they started leaving, they said that they will be back, and they're picking up other people. I know that, and sharing this information to a lot of leaders, a lot of people that have a certain kind of DNA, and they're gonna start doing it more often to give messages to different people. They're messengers, and they're protectors. So I really want to know who are these Nordics that are picking me up, and they haven't given me their names of who they are. And I've been having these experiences for a long time, but I never gave you a name of these Nordics.
Yeah, I remember back in 2008 when you first contacted me and told me about the 3 Nordic extraterrestrials on that ship there in Brazil that you met, that they didn't tell you their names or where they were from or anything like that. And you've over all these years, we've just called them the Nordics because they look like Nordics, but they haven't told you their names, they haven't told you where they're from.
So it was kind of interesting when they started leaving. I felt that they were telling me, you know who we are. Like, they were telling me, you know who I am. Yeah, let's see. I've been having this experience with them for a long time.
Well, JP, I want to thank you for sharing that incredible mission with the Nordics, and I look forward to you telling us more about future missions with the Nordics and with the US military. So now you're flying different missions for different groups, but they're obviously working together.
Oh yeah, they're totally working together. They're sharing technology. They're showing techniques. That technique I showed you actually came from the Nordics for telepathic communication. Yeah, I think people should try it, what I told them in this interview, and they will probably get it. Like, it's kind of interesting.
Well, thank you, JP.
Thank you, Doc. Blessings to everybody, and keep meditating and have a loving heart.
You have been listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.